Accompanying today are Fearless Raven.
Indeed, indeed.
Um, I've got some breaking news for you guys. I actually bought a notebook so I could take notes. I'm very proud of myself.
We're gonna have more than like 2 sentences per chapter.
I didn't say that.
Oh, of course. Well,
And
continue.
I've got our only piece of fan art. We
Yes,
officially have the tree.
it's beautiful, and that's every cat who's ever died or ever will die. We got silver pelt. Yep.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yep.
I,
It's just a placeholder.
yeah, we're gonna have a giant tree eventually.
Yes.
I will say,
It's not going to be over here though.
elephant in the room that I am in. I'm pet sitting right now, which is why I'm not in my normal room. I'm sitting downstairs with the doggies. If you want to meet, we have Lily. This is the
Hello,
baby.
Lily.
Yep, the big baby. And then we have come here, man. The manliest dog you guys will ever see. This is Teddy. Very
Hi,
very
Teddy.
terrifying creature. And then Sadie is the old lady, and she's over there snoring. But yeah, so they're gonna be running around. Just this is not a permanent thing, and just dealing with the doggies.
We're supposed to have a cat because this is about cats.
Have you seen the size of my dogs? They're pretty much cats.
Oh, when you put it that way.
Yep. Yeah, I don't have a cat. I got dogs.
So we're in The Prophecy Begins, Into the Wild, Chapter 5.
Chapter 5. Yes.
Chapter 5. Feel it. I mean, like, that's like halfway to the goal that I had set, which Chapter 10.
The goal for what?
Yeah. For changing up where I'm sitting.
Oh, gotcha. Makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, setting up. I was like, if we make it to chapter 10, I'm going to actually set up. I'm going to take all my art stuff over in that corner. I'm going to set up a whole, like, miniature false studio.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I do have in the very uh first paragraph, I already have notes. So when Firepaw wakes up, he had been having a dream of chasing a squirrel up and up into the topmost branches of a tall oak. Do you think this is symbolism?
It's literally like my first note says he dreams of chasing a squirrel up a tree. Are these dreams somehow prophetic?
I'm just wondering if
Like, are
it's
all of
supposed to be
them
like
supposed to be
him like
prophetic?
meeting his goal, or like rising through the ranks, or personal growth, or reaching like that kind of thing.
Yeah, like that, like continuing to ascend. And then I remembered, with hunting and stuff like that, I was wondering what he had caught first, but I guess it wasn't a squirrel. So why is he chasing a squirrel? I feel like we need to look at
What other
there's
animal
like,
is going to be climbing a tree that he'd be hunting?
well, he could be hunting like a pigeon or something in a tree,
Well, yeah, I guess that maybe. I just feel like it's
or a
he's chasing
hawk.
something. Those would like a hawk? No, I think he would be eaten by a hawk. He's a young man now.
But no, it's just like, I feel like there's other things that could be in trees. Snakes could be in trees.
Why would- That would be a totally different type of symbolism if he was chasing a snake up a tree. That would not be a good thing.
But we know, like, what owls are prophetic. Like, we've got to figure out. I feel like all these dreams are
What is the
supposed to somehow
symbolism of
be.
squirrels? I looked up climbing a tree, and that's where I got personal growth and reaching new heights, which makes sense for him. But I don't know the symbolism of a squirrel.
Or chasing a squirrel.
Wait, this is not symbolism, but his first daughter is named Squirrel Kit, and his first dream, as a warrior per se, as a clan cat, is of a squirrel.
I feel like a nod back to
I highly
Into the
doubt. We might
Wild.
be reaching a lot with that, but
You never know.
if that was the
But
case, you'd think it would be like Mouse, because that's the one he had the dream of. Like, that made him go into the wild. Right?
mm,
It's
Yeah.
canon now, okay? That's why she's squirrel. It's not because she has a bushy red tail. It's because his first day in The Apprentice and he dreamed of a squirrel.
Yep. That's it.
Makes
And it
perfect
was
sense. And guess
going up,
what?
up, up. So squirrel flight.
Sandpaw was in that den with him, his future wife. Mm-hmm.
It makes
It
perfect
all loops
sense.
around.
Mm-hmm.
So then I do have a. I I'm trying to figure out because I think this would stress me out. I'm hoping cats have some sort of internal alarm clock to know when to wake up. Cause like, man, that would stress me. It's okay, I gotta be up by sun high. Like, how would you supposed to know? Like, do they just sense these things? Like, what happens if every cat sleeps in and they all miss the morning patrol because they're all lazy?
Well, I feel like cats probably benefit from the same, internal mechanism that humans do, which is a circadian rhythm.
Well, yeah, but they're also
Theirs is just
nocturnals.
yeah, but theirs is different. So like circadian rhythm just means that you're in sync with what's around you. Because of your senses and stuff like that. Like you can sense that, the sun's coming up, the earth is warming up and stuff like that. You just kind of know instinctively, like even we know instinctively, like you just kind of tell when you wake up, like, oh man, I'm late.
Yeah, he just doesn't have that awareness yet. I guess it would make sense that
I feel
Greypaw
like
would, because he's grown up in this clan.
well, and not only that, but like, Rusty, like, he's kitty pet, former kitty pet, so
Maybe they fed him before work every morning, and so he already has that, like, locked in.
maybe, I guess. I mean, he had to be woke up before sunrise, so I feel like birds generally like
That is true.
thinking back,
It's probably louder in the woods, too, like with all the birds waking up.
yeah. When thinking back, like, yeah, Smudge says like, normally you're up by now and like you miss the little birds trying to take off from the nest or whatever. And it's like, so he's normally up by now. So I wonder why he slept in.
He had a
It
busy
was a rough
day.
night. It
Yeah.
was rough.
Someone died, okay? He moved in with
Yeah,
new to strangers. Someone died. He accepted a new religion. It was a very busy day.
it's intense.
Yeah. Um, and then it goes back to the fact that for some reason he wasn't given a mentor. Like they were sitting here meeting, they're like, well, because you don't have a mentor yet, both Lionheart and Tiger Claw are gonna train him, which that's always bugged me. There's cats who don't have apprentices right now, but like, why does he not have a mentor yet? I'm just
Well,
like, it's gonna be Blue Star, but
I guess going back, because I think Tiger Claw's the first one to greet them when they get into the hollow, correct? Yeah.
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 In future, I
My
expect you both
copy
to be
says in
punctual.
future, not in the future.
Oh
It's
yeah,
in future.
mine too. In future.
In future, I expect you both to be punctual. I'm like, I know it's a typo, but honestly, like if someone actually spoke to me like that, I would not be able to take them seriously. I'd bust out laughing.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. In future.
I feel like every time I've ever heard it, I've heard in the
Yeah, in the
future.
future.
So,
From now on, those kind of things, yeah.
yeah.
I don't know, maybe that's an UK thing to give it benefit of the doubt, but I doubt it. I think it's a typo.
Maybe I feel like it's just
Which
straight
is
up
weird
a
because I
typo
have
because
one
I
of the
found a
newer
few
copies and
others.
you'd think it would have been fixed. They fix a lot of mess ups. Or actually, I might be wrong about that. How old is this copy? It is 2003. So, yeah, it's.
Oh, you might be right.
Is it a thing over there? They say in future?
I can't find where. I'll keep kind of searching as we go, but it might be that Americans are the weird ones and we put in the future. I feel like Canada says the same thing too though.
I mean, are you saying Canada's not weird too? No offense, Canadians. We love your bacon.
I've been to Canada a lot.
I've been once. I went on a cruise up there.
Oh, jelly.
But yeah, then they get into their tour of the clan or the territory, and for some reason, to this day, I always picture. Okay, I gotta draw this out for you in the air. If this was like ThunderClan camp, right? For some reason, I picture going straight forward is RiverClan, not to the right. I always picture it like up, kind of thing. Like if you were looking at the map, it'd be like camp, RiverClan, every single time. It's never been like that, but I still picture it that way, and it always throws me off when I look at the map. Just saying, it's a weird thing of mine.
Same. Okay, so I did find the answer. This is specifically a British English thing. In future specifically means from now on, whereas in the future is at some distant point later on.
Okay,
So it is specifically a British English thing or a UK thing.
interesting. Makes sense.
You learn
We're
something new
probably
every
yeah, we're
day.
probably gonna have quite a few of those where we're just like, well, they say it wrong, but it's us who's wrong.
Uh, Different, I think.
Yeah.
Huh. I swear, learn a
And then
lot of new stuff.
yeah, as they're going through the tour, I like that they point out that the three main trees they have are birch, ash, and oak. That's kind of cool. Except for when they get to my kitty pet place where they grew all the pine trees, which
Yeah,
is
the
also
tree
Shadow
cut
Clan.
place.
Yeah, Shadow Clan's also pine trees. Just
I was,
lots of
I must have,
trees.
must have missed where they said that because I like did point out like further in, what was it? The other thing that I had written down was like, Tiger Claw's impatience. Like the entire time he's talking, all I can hear is like everything he's saying, but in the voice of Scar from The Lion King.
Yes.
Like old school Scar from the original Lion King that came out the year we were born. But
There's
like,
they say like the trees were thick in this part of the forest, birch and ash trees overshadowed by mighty oaks.
yeah, I saw the oak. Yeah, like beyond the tree cut place, like to the oak forest beyond.
Yeah.
Um,
It's just a good visual, visual. Like I can picture all the trees.
yeah,
And then we
definitely.
gotta because making dirt is not mentioned at all in here. We do have to instead have the fact that Tiger Claw's marking things. Which, if you don't
Of
know how
course.
a cat marks, you're lucky. But yeah, because it comes up like twice in here about him marking things. Like, okay, there's no dirt place, making dirt, but we got marking. um, da da da. So
I'll,
yeah,
we get to Sunning Rock, and it's like, oh, this is the place where Redtail died, and it's kind of like fur on end and stuff like that. And it's like, there is not. I'm like genuinely surprised having read at least up to Fire and Ice now. There is no mention of there being like any blood or anything in the area, no like visible signs that a battle took place or, some sort of a skirmish or something. But literally in Fire and Ice, you get to the Wind Clan camp and it's like, oh, it's been 2 whole moons and there's still blood.
yeah.
And it's like,
Uh,
what?
I have notes on that, but real quick, because this I thought was kind of weird. Before that, when they're crossing a two-leg path,
Hmm.
they say
Oh, that's right.
that I lost it. um, yeah, okay, so they say that the cats cross the sharp stones of the narrow two-leg path. Is this like a cobblestone path in the woods? Because you think it's either like concrete, flat, or just like dirt path.
Gravel.
Yes, thank you. Actually, that makes a
That's
lot
what
more
I was
sense to
thinking
me
about.
because I was trying to figure out like they're describing like they cross a lot of stones in this, and this is the only time they're described as sharp. But yeah, okay,
Pea
gravel path.
gravel.
That makes sense.
I have a question about that. And I put it in my notes and then totally skipped over it. Um, why does Tiger Claw? Why do you feel? I have a thought, but like, why do you feel like Tiger Claw asks Firepaw if it's like safe to cross?
I think
Like
he's
at the
testing him,
initial.
like, hey, can you smell anything? Not that he wants his. He's like, it'd be like if you and I were about to cross a road and I was teaching you how to look left and right. Like, okay, is it okay for us to cross now, kind of thing. Like just testing if he can sense whether or not
Yeah.
the two legs and the dog are nearby, or if it's an old scent.
I mean, like one of I guess yeah, that would make sense because then like because I was thinking about I was like like what if he said like oh yeah it's safe and then it actually wasn't safe or like
I think they would have
like is
called him
there
out on it.
supposed to be yeah is there like some significance to this moment do they like genuinely like not know
I would
um
assume
which I felt
they
like could
would.
have been a possibility.
Because, like, whether or not they understand how humans work, which Rusty would know better, they can at least tell that if the scent is old or new, kind of thing.
Yeah,
So even if it was a friendly person who is not going, who Rusty would know, like, yeah, this one's not going to bother us, it's still a person, kind of thing. So they would still want to
yeah,
avoid.
that makes
Yeah,
sense.
I think. My guess. Oh, I had something that popped in my head and then it just shot right back out. It's gone. It's gone forever. We'll be at the very end of this and I'll remember and hop way back to here. But yeah, so back to Sunning Rocks though. They did manage, apparently, to get Oakhart's body out, which is interesting because they had one night to do this, so they were in the dark shifting these rocks to get this squished cat out. And yeah, like you'd think there'd be like there was just a battle, like scraps of fur, blood, maybe even like with Tiger Claw going around marking like crazy, you'd think he would again mark Sunning Rocks. Like it's I don't know, they weirdly avoid this place, which you think they would want to be all over right now, like making sure their scent's all over it.
Other thing is like they're actually like talking at Sunning Rock and like that'll be kind of like for me that was like very important once we get up to four trees.
Yeah.
I think while we're over here, they talk about the pungent smell of the River Clan warriors that had been there and stuff like that. And they talk about how Rusty opens his mouth and he can smell, you know, via the roof of his mouth. This
I
is
remembered.
literally
Continue though. Sorry, I remembered. You reminded me.
go ahead.
No, no, finish your thought and I'll say it.
I was gonna say this is literally like the book where it like I had the epiphany and like learned like you can smell things like through your mouth because there's scent
Yeah,
glands
like
in your
especially animals.
yeah my mom like I ended up because I told you my mom ended up reading this whole series with me but like she's the one who like further explained it and I was just like whoa like that's so freaky and cool.
Yeah. But that was actually part of the thought was like just yesterday he couldn't even smell cats. Or he was like, "Oh, I smell cats." And now he's here like, "Oh yes, I can distinguish that there a human and a dog were here, but it has been a while." And he's able to pick out like ThunderClan scent and RiverClan and all that like immediately. The second he starts using his nose, he can figure this stuff out.
I think it's more of like you're just so kind of used to like being in the two lake place. You'd have like so many different smells bombarding you constantly. You just kind of like ignore things.
Yeah, I mean like he described
It's like
everything in
being
there like specific smells like and like the pungent flowers and like stuff like that, which here it just seems more natural to him. It's
yeah,
not as harsh of smells.
well, it's also not like you're not being bombarded. It's not like being in a room. It's not like being in an auditorium. You suddenly went into a classroom instead. It's less.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, he did also just sleep at ThunderClan, so their scent's probably like, if you go to a hotel, when you first walk in, you're able to smell what it smells like, and then as you're in there, you get used to it and you just don't notice it, kind of thing. So,
Yeah.
they don't say it in here, but I will say because it's described this way from now on, RiverClan apparently smells fishy. They always say like the pungent, fishy smell of RiverClan, but like yeah, they don't say it here. Just so everyone knows for the future, RiverClan smells like a fish. I don't know what ThunderClan smells like. I would assume forest, trees,
Pine.
pine, or I think that'd be ShadowClan, but according to this, they smell sour when they get to it. But
Probably
yeah,
like onion, because at some point in the series, doesn't he roll around an onion like there to disguise his scent?
I think wild
I think so.
garlic.
Or yeah.
I almost figured like if there's like you go to like a swampy area and it has that like almost sulfury smell. They're in swamps, so I kind of assumed that, but
Maybe that or like decaying matter. Marshes tend to be that way where
yeah,
you
like
smell
rotting
like
wood and stuff and like not yeah, like not necessarily bad, just like sharper tones than you'd be used to.
yeah, it's like stagnant water smell. It's
Yeah.
very off-putting.
Like that water bottle we had that exploded. Do you remember that? We
Vaguely.
we went to Government Island up in Virginia, and in the center of it there's like this black water swamp that looks like really creepy, like they even have it fenced off kind of thing. We went up to it anyways. We're like, wow, this is cool. So we got an empty water bottle and scooped up some of the water because we wanted to just, you know, have it, I guess. I don't even know why we did it. But then
To figure out what was causing it to be that like
yeah, like we
dark.
scooped it up and we're like, that's weird. The water looks clear actually, but like it was black at the top. But yeah, I brought it home
Hmm.
and just had it sitting on my table, and the next day, all of a sudden, you just hear pow! The cap shot off of this thing, and the water bottle just busted open and sprayed swamp water everywhere. I'm assuming from the gases in it, but still, I was like, we were joking that it was a haunted swamp, and then we bring the water home, and it explodes in my house. Oh gosh, we have to do that again. Where were we?
We should
Um,
eventually go back and see.
yeah. And then, Tiger Claw has to mark again, obviously.
Oh, of course.
Oh, okay, he does mark there. The trees, but yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Then they're talking about 4 trees, and it's already sun high. They woke, so it's like what, 3 hours between sunrise and noon? 4 hours?
Sunrise and noon is
I don't know if it's different in the UK, but you
generally
think it's
speaking,
like
it would
six
be.
hours, right? Because like sun up is sometimes around like 6 a.m. ish.
I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna say like sun high, like if we're going by literal, like when the sun is at its highest point in the sky, it's not technically noon anyways. And that's like regardless of where you're at.
So still like
But
at minimum 4 hours, we'll say.
yeah, you're looking closer to 6.
Yeah, and, like, that's
Or
how
between
long
4
it
and
took
6 hours.
them to do half of the
It's a
territory.
large territory.
They're little cats. But
It's also
still,
a large territory.
maybe they're going slow, but you would think, but they also describe that they're sprinting at full speed and they're struggling to keep up. So they're sprinting and it takes 4 hours to go up to uh the tree cutter place, then go a little bit further to RiverClan, follow the river to Four Trees, and it's taking them hours.
I think that map just makes it look a lot smaller than it really is. I want to point out that while they were busy being loud and talking and everything else at Sunning Rocks, Tiger Claw turns around and snaps at them to be quiet because of how close they are to other clan territory. It's like every clan does patrols, so what's your point?
Yeah, I mean, they are kind of in very bad uh graces, I guess, with River Clan, and I don't think they want to be attacked with a kitty pet, a wounded apprentice, and the other three. Oh wait, no, Ravenpaw's not even there.
No.
So,
But it was just like one of those, like, if you're in your own territory, what does it matter?
I mean, I know later on they get challenged if you're too close to the border because it comes off as suspicious.
Meh.
Which, like, what are you doing here? I'm literally on border patrol. It's my job. But yeah, I mean, I think right now just because they're struggling with River Clan.
Okay.
My dog just exploded. Um,
It's, it's not good.
Yeah. So then when they're describing four trees, Firepaw has the point of like that's foolish. Why can't the clans work together and share their hunting grounds instead of fighting each other? It honestly doesn't seem like that stupid of a thing to ask. Like, their reason always, from now on, is there have always been four clans. And that's just their logic. They're just keeping things how they've been. But, like, like, Blood Clan. They do well, and they're just one clan. The Tribe of Rushing Water, they're just one. Like, it's just weird that they define themselves by being separated. Right? Like, I'd find it weird if they were all together, like on the Great Journey. It is weird. But it's kind of just a weird thing that they are like that. According to them, it's because there's four oaks. And even then, there's technically five because there's Sky Clan too.
Hmm.
I don't know, just a weird thing. 'Cause you don't consider it until because there's just four clans. That's how it is. Until you think about them, like why though? Why are there four? So maybe it's in Dawn of
Oh,
Clans. Maybe that goes into it more. I haven't got to that yet.
I was gonna say, I know that they like talk about like was it the story of like the formation of Starclan and stuff like that. They did talk about like why the four clans formed, but that was prior to Sky Clan, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean, like it makes sense if you think about it. Like it's not like someone could easily survive in all four of those territories. They're split up based on like the ones who swim, the swamp ones, the ones who are really fast, the tree one. Like it makes sense that way, but
Yeah, but at the
yeah,
same time, why do we all have to hate each other and be stingy and stuff like that? I
yeah,
get it. Like, I'd ask the same thing, but I guess I have a bleeding heart, so.
yeah. And then they say that like when after they answer him, he's like, actually they don't even really.
Mm-mm.
Lionheart doesn't even really answer him. He's just like, you speak from the heart, young Firepod. This will make you a strong warrior one day. Like, okay, but you haven't answered my question. And then Tiger Claw says it's gonna make him give in to kitty pet weakness right at the moment of attack, which he kind of always does. He even as a leader, he never is just like, we're gonna go attack. He's just very much uh pacifist, pacipaw, we'll say. Right? Like he never. I mean, I think there's like a few times he will launch an attack, but only if it's provoked.
But that's the thing. He's not, like, he always puts, I feel like, for what it's worth, like, his kitty pet life, like, inspired him to be a, like,
Pacipaw.
well,
It's gonna be my
yeah,
new
but
term.
not in that negative sense. You know what I mean? Like
I mean,
he
it's not a
has
bad thing. It's just everyone hates him for it. They say
still
he's
like
soft and all that.
think about it this way though. Like he's coming from a place where like cats basically didn't care about each other, and he's like so like entrenched in this like, oh, we have to care about each other and take care of each other because prey is scarce and times are hard and winters are harsh and fires happen and flooding happens, and just like being out in the wild, like it's a
Trees
rough
fall.
life, and like why would you turn another cat away?
Yeah.
um I feel like that's what it inspires, like that like more compassionate side. Like yes, he's a pacifist, he's also compassionate, and I think that there's more to say for him when it comes to the compassion that he shows than there is like any of the other leaders in literally the entire series as far as I'm aware.
Yeah. I mean, like if you think about it, even later on when like Blue Star goes crazy, pretty much, she kind of goes the exact opposite of him when it comes to being accepting and all that. So yeah, it kind of shows the stark difference between the two of them at that time. I mean, she's not normally like that. She's the one who brought him into the clan in Yellow Fang.
Yeah, but I think she did it for more selfish purposes, and I think as far as Yellowfang went, it was more of a like
I think it was more strategic. Like, okay, this is a Shadow Clan medicine cat. Like, she's vital.
I think it was more out of obligation than it was anything else. With
Yeah.
Yellowfang, like it is more of a like Yellowfang is an older cat. She is an injured cat. Like you're not supposed to kill other cats. Like, no, I mean,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah, it definitely they are starkly different. Sad thing is that it wasn't always that way. When we get to Blue Star's prophecy,
Yeah, that's gonna be a good one.
it's gonna be hard.
It's a sad one. So Crooked Star's Journey or whatever it is probably the saddest one for me, but Crooked Star's Promise? I think it's Crooked Star's
I've
Promise.
I've heard that so someone did a list on the our Reddit for warrior cats, and they ranked those in order of like the hardest read. Like moth, is it moth flight,
Moth Flight
moths
something. I haven't read that one yet.
for whatever reason
Everyone
that one got
raves
put
that
up
that
at the
one's
top.
really good though. I just haven't got, I don't
Yeah,
even know who that character is. So
I have no idea.
um but yeah, and then they mentioned that tonight there is a gathering, so when we do our timeline of like to know how many years or whatever has passed, this is gathering number 1. Technically there's been a gathering that's been mentioned, but it was before the story started. And it was yeah, when he said he'd had the mouse dream like 3 times since the full moon or something like that. Technically that's the first. This is a month since then, so it's officially been a month since he started having those dreams.
Yes,
Yeah, and then we have I like this quote. It makes me laugh at the irony. It says, "It is our clan loyalty that makes us strong. If you weaken that loyalty, you weaken our chances of survival." Tiger Claw says that, talking about clan loyalty when he betrays every clan he ever goes to. It's just like, oh, the irony of him
I can't.
boosting about loyalty.
I mean, at the very end of this series, one of the things I'd love to do is do like a deep dive and come back to moments like this and like
Yeah.
and track Tiger Claw as best as we can through the universe that is the Warriors series.
Trying to think through his mentality, because this is the day after he killed Redtail. It could be in his mind that last battle, Redtail runs away from Sunning Rocks. The battle in the prologue.
Mhm.
Tiger Claw might see that as disloyalty because he showed weakness by leaving when Tiger Claw thought they could beat it. Then all of a sudden, so he may have thought that by killing Redtail is best for ThunderClan in his messed up mind at the moment. Later on, he just stops caring about ThunderClan, it's all about him, but right now it could be.
No, I think you're exactly right. Going back to the prologue,
Because he's mad that they leave.
um,
Like, he's like, we can win. He's like, oh, it's not worth it.
where was it? It was Tiger Claw. This is useless. There are too many River Clan warriors. It's Redtail yelling at him. He said, "No, Redtail. ThunderClan will never be beaten." Um, and then he's told by Redtail, ThunderClan will honor your courage, Tiger Claw, but we cannot afford to lose any more of our warriors. Blue Star would never expect her warriors to fight against these impossible odds. We will have another chance to avenge this defeat. And then he calls for the retreat. He met Tiger Claw's amber eyed gaze steadily.
Yeah, I'm thinking he saw that as disloyalty, and he's just kind of like, right in this thing saying, if our clan, or it's our clan loyalty that makes us strong. If you weaken that loyalty, you weaken our chance of survival. So he may have literally been like, okay, Redtail's weakening our chance of survival. I'm going to fix this. Like, he doesn't think he's a good deputy, and he thinks the only way to, or will make a good leader, and he thinks that by killing Redtail, he's saving ThunderClan. Just a thought. Also,
Just want
Sadie's
to
here
point
now.
out since I happen to be in the prologue, um, this definitely like there was like blood at least at the first battle, so
Mm-hmm.
why is this not visible?
I mean,
Must
even
have been
when
a rain.
Ravenpaw describes the battle, he says there's blood. He's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh yes, red against the gray of the stone, or whatever he says, like in his epic storytelling. But yeah, it didn't rain though. They at least they didn't mention it raining.
It
It's
did on the night that Rusty went into the forest for the
but the
first
battle
time.
was last night.
That battle was
Yeah.
last night.
Well, this. Oh yeah. I mean, since then, that definitely would have washed, or you'd think would wash away. But then again, 2 moons worth haven't washed away WindClan, so hard to say. But yeah, you think there'd be signs.
Maybe.
Um, and then we get into the whole thing where they describe ShadowClan as smelling sour. Poor ShadowClan. And then when
They
they
are kind of
describe
sour though.
The Thunder Path, he says that where is it? He had seen paths like this before near his old two-leg home, but never this wide, nor the monster so fierce and or swift and fierce. Do you think it's a highway? I was wondering that, because like they're going, or at least like maybe like like, because in a neighborhood it would be like 2 lane, one going one going the other. So at most it's 4 lanes, two going one direction, two going the other. At minimum, I mean, if
So
it's
I don't
big.
think there's a difference between highways and interstates. I'm not entirely certain if this is the same in like the UK, but a highway is still you still have it, it's still able to be like a two-lane, one in one direction, one in the other, but it's the speeds
I was thinking of it like Route
versus
1 kind of thing, where it's not a highway, but it's like a busy, big road.
it is. It's
Yeah.
just not an interstate.
Well,
Interstate would be like it's like the difference between Route 1 and I-95, yeah.
yeah.
Like it's not the 405.
Yes. Or
But I
it's not the
do
Autobahn.
no. I do
Sherman
think that
cats
this
would never
is
survive.
I do think that this is a highway, and I do think that there is an interstate very close by, but that's based on information from the first two chapters in Fire and Ice.
Yeah, they talk about like
Because
a
there
tangle
are
of them and all that.
overpasses.
And yeah, I think that's a highway, but I don't think
Yeah.
this is one. Or what when I say highway, I mean like 95
Interstate.
kind of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, and then we got that whole thing. And then when they're heading back, they said they're going to avoid snake rocks because an untrained apprentice would make an easy prey for an adder, which if you didn't know, an adder's a snake. Very venomous snake. Dangerous boy. Uh, and yeah, it is kind of a messed up thing that they keep that like snake rocks is important later, but it just an interesting thing that they have a thing there dedicated just to snakes. But yeah, I think that's it for their tour, right?
The common European adder is the only venomous snake that is native to South England, which is where this story is based off of.
Is it a pretty
And the rest of
snake?
the UK. It's the only native poisonous snake.
Venom,
Venom.
venomous. There's a big
Venomous. I'm
yes.
sorry, there
It's
is a
supposed to be
difference, yes.
if it bites you and you die, it's venomous. If you
Venomous.
bite it and die, it's poisonous. I
So they're
had
not
like
interchangeable.
death berries are poisonous. Snakes are venomous.
Are you sure the berry can't bite?
Berry nose can. Hmm. But yeah, do you have anything about their tour to add?
Let me see. Was there anything else? No, not about the tour.
Yeah, because then they
I
get
think
back and they're
like
just yeah,
I was gonna say like the his reaction to the Thunder Path was funny.
is like terrified of it.
Like you grew up around these. What's wrong with you?
Well, yeah, but like probably like I said, neighborhood ones, like the people go 25, hopefully, and like it's one car each direction, not like triple that amount with like all over the place.
Well, hopefully they're not actually going 25, because overseas, actually, literally anywhere else besides here, it's in kilometers. So
Oh, well, true. For us, I think it's 25 miles per hour is normally the residential, or it could be 15 in some
15 and
miles per
most.
hour. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, my
15
neighborhood's
miles per
25.
hour. Supposed to be 25 on major, like if it's like a throughway or whatever, but like if you live like off a side street, it's supposed to be like 15. It also varies by state.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
I was
whatever
just curious, so I was
the
looking up how many kilometers per hour. It would have been 40 kilometers per hour.
so 25 is actually safer. You're welcome. I'm saving lives.
I was like, I think the car would literally be inching. I'm just curious to know like what that would actually like
The
if it
conversion.
was 25. Oh no, I'm sorry. It might be like 15 miles per hour. Yeah, 15 miles per hour. So
Yeah,
like maybe
okay.
that like
So 25 would
yeah.
still make sense.
Yes, you're still like inching.
Yeah. And that like the
Oh.
lovely back and forth where they're like, "Oh yes, we went out and patrolled the borders. You'll be happy to know that it's all safe." And Dustpaw's like sarcastic, like sure the other clans were terrified when they smelled you two coming. And then Grey Paw's back with the they didn't even dare show their faces. I'm like, you really think it's because of you? Like, oh no, here comes
No.
Grey Paw. Like they even say that like Shadow Clan like was freshly marked, so the patrol just went by. So it's not that they were scared; it was that they already went by. Like you're late. Maybe if you were there on time.
I think it was him just trying to be like arrogant, like cocky or whatever. Just be like, "Oh yeah, like." But he knew, because I think isn't this where he gets frustrated or whatever? Like he gets frustrated in this conversation. Yeah, they didn't even show their
Unable to hide his
faces.
anger. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep. He's like
it was
legit
like,
mad about it. He's like, no, no, they were scared. They didn't dare show their. I think he's trying to sound important and realizing that he was not important at all today.
I love the clap back though. We'll ask them tonight when we see them at the clan gathering. Like,
Yep.
ooh,
Which is weird because I
some
think
ice
later
the
on, every
burn.
time there's a new apprentice made, they go to the gathering. So they should be going to this gathering, but they're not. I think she doesn't want to introduce Fireball until she knows if he's staying, and she wants Greypaw to go with him, kind of thinks they're friends.
Maybe. I feel like it's more of like a, it was just out of convenience sort of a thing. Like they were already promised to go.
Maybe, yeah. Because would have been their second gathering, I think, and they haven't been to one, so you'd think. But I think it's because of Firepot. They don't be like, yep, we brought a kitty pet here. He probably still smells like kitty pet and all that, and they just don't want to show him off yet.
Yeah. I don't know. I find Sandpaw to be very annoying.
Just very cheeky.
Annoying.
And Firepot asks, like, have you been to a gathering yet? Greypaw's been an apprentice for like 3 days. Like he literally just learned today that it's once a month. Once a full moon. Every full moon. He's like, have you been to one? Like, yeah, because it was a full moon 3 days ago. He doesn't listen. Pew. And then the next day, they get to do some training, and Ravenpaw's with them.
Yay.
He's very happy to be there. Obviously, I think this is probably the first time he's come face to face with Tiger Claw since the murder would be my guess.
Well, probably outside of, the encounter where Spotted Leaf was tending to him and he was pretending that he was
Yeah,
passed out.
but I do like this moment where Ravenpaw says he's worried his shoulder is gonna get hurt again, and then Tiger Claw walks in, looks Ravenpaw directly in the eye, and says, "You need to learn to hold your tongue." I think this is a threat here. He's like, don't say anything about what happened. Like, it's double meaning. Yes, to stop complaining about your injury, but also just shut up in general. Just don't say what happened.
I'm still very convinced that Tiger Claw is the one that gave it to him. So until I have confirmation otherwise, like I am dead convinced that that was Tiger Claw being like, I will do worse to you at a certain point if you rat me out.
You're going to make me find Forest of Secrets to prove this to you. Okay, after this, I'll go find it and I will read you the section. Yep. And then, oh yeah,
You
but
can read to me anytime you want
oh, I got you. If it means
a
proving
bedtime
someone wrong, I'm
story.
always down. Um, they say that when they're all doing like the crouches and everything,
Mm-hmm.
Firepaw thought he had it perfect. And he's like, well, it's obvious you've known nothing but softness. You stalk like a lumbering kitty pet. Which is weird, because Bluestar and Lionheart compliment his crouch when he's hunting the mouse at the beginning. Like, you would have caught it. So it's just interesting that he did better as a kitty pet than he did now.
I think Tiger Claw's just being a butt.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, Lionheart does say that, like, his pace and forward movement will come later, but his crouch is perfectly balanced. So maybe he just went at the wrong
And
pace.
then what Tiger Claw like acknowledges that in the next breath because he talks about Raven Paws not being up to par.
Yeah, which is better than Ravenpaw, I suppose. Even after 2 moons of training, you're still putting all your weight on your left side. Imagine being shown up by a kitty pet. Like, man.
Someone doesn't like him.
Yeah. Yeah, he should be able to adapt. Even you, Firepaw, learned something this morning. If Ravenpaw picked up things as quickly as you, he'd be a credit to me rather than an embarrassment. Like, holy cow. That's savage. And he
Ooh.
technically complimented Firepaw. And there he's like, yeah, you're a fast learner, and like you'd make a better apprentice than Ravenpaw. And I absolutely love Greypaw's comeback where it's like, well, I'm more lopsided than a one-legged badger. I think I'll have to settle for hunting stupid mice. They won't stand a chance. I shall just wander up to them and sit on them until they surrender. Like, thank you, Greypaw. Like, this is why he is, like, the best character. He's just the comedic relief until he gets
Like,
married.
gotta have something.
And then, like, immediately they'd let them go out and practice hunting right away. And I think this is a vital moment. So he's hunting the mouse.
Mm-hmm.
He scoops it into the air with one paw. It lands on the ground and he lunges on top and kills it. We talked about this when he had his dream of him just tossing it up and down like he doesn't know what to do. He does the exact same thing. He scoops it up, throws it, pounces on it, and he just keeps doing that. This time he actually acts and kills it, kind of thing. So it's like literally the exact same scenario as his dream, but he does it right this time. So it's like, it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's what like it even says he's a true ThunderClan apprentice now. I'm like, yeah, he did what the dream was telling him to do, and he did it properly.
Love that.
Yeah, I'm surrounded by dogs. I'm Lily, Teddy, Sadie. They're everywhere.
It's terrifying.
Yeah, it is. Did you have any other notes?
I don't. That was it.
Sweet. Yeah, just I really like the way that ends, where it's just a wrap up from the first dream that he'd been having over and over for l literally a month or a month and a day now, because it's a day past
I
the gathering.
I do think that I will end up drawing that Ravenpaw with his bum up in the air trying to
Like
stalk.
a duck.
Like, put your butt down. You look like a duck.
Yep.
Like, we'll put that quote back here at some point.
Poor Ravenpaw. I mean,
I
he
literally
does have
could
a
not
hurt
like.
shoulder.
I don't even think that has anything to do with that. I think Tiger Claw just wants him dead.
No, yes, he does hate ducks.
And so I was like, Tiger Claw just like he obviously is the one that like hurt Ravenclaw or Ravenpaw and like
He didn't. It says so. It says he ran away already injured. Like when he runs away and then he doubles back.
Let me get that Ravenpaw
I'm
book
going to find
next.
it. Oh, someone better like post the exact thing in the comments to let us know, because I'm telling you, it's not a thing.
Which way? You said Forest of Secrets.
Yes. Well, while you do that, we do have the name for our new cat. Um, where'd he go? Yes, we
He
have
ran away.
Duskmane is the name we went with for this guy. Is pretty glorious. And then this will be the cat. I have too much stuff in my way. This is not my normal setup. Our next cat will be. I can send you the picture. That one. A nice spotted kitty. Many a spot. Many, many.
Need to look up. I think I sent you a list of names for each of them. My suggestions.
Yeah, I think so. I had to look again. Well, we have that one. Um, and we have also agreed on the second clan that will be in our fantasy world. So we already have Omen clan, and they're the ones who get like premonitions of things to come. So they just have senses about what's right and wrong and all that. Next we have Shrouded clan. And their clan or their territory is always very, very foggy, very thick fog, and they are just so stealthy that they're pretty much able to disappear into the fog when they're, invading or something. They're just pretty much silent. You don't hear them coming. And the only way to find their camp is to be lost in the fog. You can't find it if you're looking for it. You have to be lost. Did you find the quote? I'll find it
So,
after. Okay, since I can find it after this.
the, okay, so here's the thing. His name comes up in that book 63 times. I think, in the first chapter, Fireheart's friend Ravenpaw. Tiger Claw's own apprentice had witnessed the murder of Redtail. Tiger Claw had tried to kill him to keep him quiet.
Yeah, he
So
tries to get
Fireheart
other
had
cats to
taken.
kill him.
So you're looking literally. I'm trying to find where Ravenpaw is telling a story.
Yes, they're at the barn with Ravenpaw, and he's describing what happened.
Oh, this is where he says, I want to talk to Ravenpaw again.
Yep. And then they go there after a gathering.
He had never asked Ravenpaw for more details about, okay. Um, Uplands to find Ravenpaw. He shifted uneasily.
Yeah, keep going
If they
till
were going to go
Ravenpaw's
see him,
telling
they
the
need to
story.
leave soon. To go see Ravenpaw, Redtail, and Raven. So this is the only way
He
for
may have
him
been
to
better
refuse.
putting barley in there and then just gone through that, but
No kidding. Uh, Ravenpaw, this way he meowed. Okay, you found him. Ravenpaw purred happily. Okay, so like we're finally at the point where we like find him. Um, we need to talk. We haven't any time to waste. Ravenpaw looked puzzled. Of course. I know how Tiger Claw killed Redtail. Ow. Is that what I'm looking for?
when he describes the battle, he says something about he turns back because he didn't know if Redtail was okay, so he turns back.
So I had been wounded in the shoulder, he began, and Redtail, he was our deputy then, as you know, told me to hide in a crack in the rock until it was safe to come out to get away. I was just going to make a dash for it when I saw Redtail attack a River Clan cat. I thought it was that gray warrior called Stonefur. Redtail knocked Stonefur off his
Well,
paws
hold on, because
and
that's getting into deep stuff. We're not there
okay.
yet. But did you hear that? Did you hear that like first thing you said about him being wounded in the shoulder? But
But it doesn't say who.
why would Tiger Claw hurt him at that point? Redtail's still alive.
Oh.
Your theory was that he attacked him because he saw Redtail get killed by Tiger Claw. At this point, he's
But we
just already hurt.
also but we also know that the stories have been extremely inconsistent.
I think he would have been like, at this point, he has no reason to fear Tiger Claw. He would have said it.
No, true.
Yeah. I just have to bask in the glory.
So why is he so afraid of Tiger Claw?
Because he saw Tiger Claw murder someone and now he thinks he's going to be murdered himself.
So, go tell your leader.
That's what I
Could
said.
have still half the
He's just
book.
scared to do it. Like, what if they don't believe him and all that kind of thing?
True.
Yeah, because like I said, if he told and she didn't believe him, Tiger Claw would know he told and would definitely be trying to kill him or
I mean,
snitches.
I feel like he does.
Snitches get stitches. Snitches get cobwebs.
No, they get a burial at dawn, but
Oh yeah, that too.
midnight vigil and a burial at dawn.
It doesn't sound as good as snitches get stitches slash cobweb
Uh-uh.
stuff. But yeah, that any other closing notes?
I do really appreciate the imagery that they gave describing like the actual territory itself, like throughout. It really, I guess for me, like rereading it, and actually paying attention to that imagery and stuff, like it definitely paints a very pretty picture.
It really makes you like feel like you're there. Like when they're talking about like walking on the pine needles, and like they're prickly, but it feels like you're walking on spongy earth. I'm like, that's literally how it feels like to walk on pine, kind of thing.
Yeah. Or like talking about like the gorge and the valleys and stuff like that, the way that the clouds are dotting and racing across the horizon. Like
Yeah.
it just definitely like I don't know. I've sketched out some stuff, so maybe we'll get some actual fan art
Yeah.
instead of my 5 minute
Yeah.
DIY
And true. One day we're getting there.
someday. Someday
Yes.
soon.
Any fan art, like I said, we'll put it on there. Send us something.
Hmm. Stick
All right.
figures.
Yep. Stick cats, something. Draw a tree falling and just cat legs sticking out from under it.
We'll put it up by the tree counter.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching, and as always, so if you want to send us fan art, you can do it in the Discord that's going to be posted below. Please
Yes.
like, subscribe, so you can see all of our videos. We're doing top tens. We're actually working on a deep dive into the Warrior Code, so that look out for
Yes.
that one. Um, and yeah, have a good night, everyone.
I'll see you soon.